Thanks for joining us. We have breaking news live at 6. I'm Rick Holmes. All right, thank you, Dave. Well, New Jersey's first lieutenant governor already has an assignment from her boss, and she hasn't even taken office yet. Now, normally, if I was in the contest, I'd have to eat this in about 15 seconds, but well, let's try a big bite.
You're being timed.
Is it good?
This is my breakfast. It's better than the Nutri-Grain bar I had at 4 a.m. This is a lot better.
Yeah, well, there's a few shaved carrots in there. You got a few
I'll bring some
nutrients.
back for you, but I'm taking a platter. Secaucus-based Goya Foods has been ordered to pay Puerto Rico millions for using its water. Well, we should be getting ready for Memorial Day, but I want to say Happy Halloween because it's so cool out there. This does not feel like May. It's being called the worst food outbreak in years, and now add another vegetable being responsible for getting so many sick. It's our top story live at 6. Our Dela Cruz is live in the newsroom. So, Dela, what should people be looking out for? Welcome back. If you have kids, you have grandkids, nieces, nephews, you know, back-to-school shopping can be pretty hectic, and new clothes always on the top of the list. The trendier, the better, right?
Yeah, I know that one firsthand. But as
Goes
News 12 New
without saying.
Jersey's Dawn Fellis reports, students at one high school in Bergen County, they don't have to worry about what's in style this year because they're wearing uniforms.
There's nothing routine about opening the hull of a cargo ship at 500 feet, but that's exactly what this crew says it is. Right now, the Coast Guard is monitoring a Malaysian tanker, an oil tanker, to make sure it's going where it ought to go.
Something a little bit lighter, though. Krispy Kreme, I don't know about lighter would be the right word. They're offering a cheeseburger inside one of their donuts, and it's absolutely disgusting. We have a picture of this stuff. Recapping our top story and our breaking news at this hour. Osama bin Laden has been killed. This is news coming from the Associated Press, Fox News, and the New York Times. And you'll have to forgive me. I'm looking down at many of the websites that we've been covering, trying to find more information. Of course, Facebook and Twitter is just blowing up with this news right now. It's very exciting to hear this. So many people in this area, of course, were affected by those attacks. And, of course, we all know somebody who has been intimately affected by those attacks. Osama bin Laden has been captured, and he has been killed, is the breaking news tonight. Osama bin Laden is dead, and his body is in the hands of the United States. So think about all your friends or family members who've been waiting for this day, New Jersey. Osama bin Laden is dead. Chopper 12 capturing all the flood scenes around the state. The Delaware, the Raritan, Passaic, and Ramapo rivers are all swelling, some areas already far above flood stage. A massive fire in Monmouth County spreads to now 14 homes. And on top of all of that, the most traumatic natural disaster in the recorded history of Japan. Look at that video. An 8.9 magnitude earthquake is followed by a 23-foot tsunami. We'll have the latest on the devastation in Japan. Thanks for joining us this Friday afternoon. I'm Rick Holmes. Right now, we are awaiting a press conference in Wayne with Governor Christie. He toured Pompton Lakes today. The governor surveying some of the flood damage in that region. We are on the scene. We are awaiting the governor's arrival there in Pompton Lakes, or in Wayne, rather. But right now, we're going to turn to meteorologist Dave Curran, who is monitoring this flooding situation. And I guess we can say that the rain stopped a little bit earlier than we anticipated. That's a good thing.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we saw a lot more in the rain than some of our computer models were projecting. We were anticipating about 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain. Take a look at what fell up there in the Passaic River Basin. A tremendous amount of water. Sharp right now, Rick. We'll send it back over to you.
All right, Dave, thanks so much. And everybody's eyes are on the river's edge, including Governor Chris Christie. We are awaiting a press conference from him. He is in Wayne this afternoon after touring Pompton Lakes. But let's continue our team coverage of severe flooding with News 12 New Jersey's Alice Gaynor, who was in Pequannock.
Well, we are here along Route 23 southbound. You could see both. Alice Gaynor, News 12, New Jersey.
All right, Alice, and sometimes all the sandbags in the world just won't help. The other big story today, of course, the most powerful earthquake in the recorded history of Japan rocked the island nation this morning. The massive 8.9 magnitude quake hit early this morning, followed by an unbridled wave of water, 23-foot tsunami. The wave was followed by more than 50 aftershocks, some of which registered 6.0 in magnitude. tremors shocked cities as far away as Tokyo, which is hundreds of miles from the quake's epicenter. Officials in the city of Sendai have found 200 to 300 bodies already in the aftermath of the tsunami, and that death toll is expected to surpass 1,000. The number of dead and missing is expected to rise, of course, possibly into the thousands as the country begins to take stock of what's happened. The Japanese Coast Guard is looking for a ship that was carrying 80 dock workers. The boat was swept away when that tsunami hit. In the United States, Hawaii was warned of the quake's aftermath, and Oregon's coastal residents were told to clear out ahead of the first waves of the tsunami to hit the western seaboard. The first swells to hit the U.S. mainland were noticed in Port Orford, but residents there said they barely noticed it. Up and down the coast, residents living near the beach left their homes and sought higher ground after sirens sounded in the early morning hours. We have a lot more to come here on this special edition of News 12 New Jersey this afternoon. Floodwaters around New Jersey, blocking roads, leaving homeowners on edge, and rivers continue to rise. We are awaiting word from Governor Chris Christie, who is in Wayne this afternoon. We'll bring you his press conference as soon as we come back. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Rick Holmes. This past Tuesday, 2 Newark police officers miraculously escaped being shot in the hallway of an apartment building. And yesterday, I had the chance to speak exclusively with these 2 partners who helped catch a suspected murderer. It's a story you'll see only on 12. It was the first time they'd ever been shot at. Officers Nikki Flowers and Joel Reyes were in the stairwell of an apartment building on Park Avenue looking for a shooting suspect when they came across someone with a death wish.
You know what, this guy, it seemed to me like he just didn't care.
As the police tell it, Officer Flowers was right here on this 3rd floor landing. Officer Reyes was just a couple of steps behind him. The suspect was where our cameraman is, and he turned and allegedly opened fire at point-blank range.
Oh, my man, could you come here for a minute? By that time, he turned around.
When he turned around, didn't say a word to us. He just turned around, and the gun came up and just started blasting away at us.
Not only was I looking at him, I seen the fire from his muzzle.
So Nick let off some rounds, you know. Thank God for that, because that's what gave us enough time to jump off those stairs.
I took a peek out, and there he goes shooting at me again.
Flowers and Reyes took cover, and the suspect, 26-year-old Jamel Terry, ran out of the building, gun in hand. The partners called for backup, and Terry was captured inside a supermarket across the street.
I thank God that he wasn't a good shooter.
Terry was wanted in North Carolina on a murder charge. Flowers was taken to an ambulance with back injuries and a different outlook.
I'm sorry, I get a little emotional even thinking about it, but thank God.
I have 3 children, and my wife's pregnant now with twins. And it's going to be a very happy Valentine's Day weekend for them. The suspect was wanted in North Carolina in connection to the death of his roommate in December. He's also facing charges in Newark. The officers return to work on Monday. Who hasn't used a Polaroid? They've been around since just about everyone was a kid, except maybe for Dan Goldfarb, who opened Dan Cameras in Elizabeth in 1955.
Sure was way ahead of his time.
Dan has now even outlasted the Polaroid picture.
Yeah, Dr. Land invented them. This is the flash. This is the oldest. At that time, it had use. It was new. It was basically exciting.
And you even got a little exercise while you waited for the photo to magically appear.
I used to always sit here and do this. But look at how nice. You don't have to wait. 1, 2, 3.
I guess in a way I would miss it.
Polaroid film was definitely ahead of its time.
And shoot, that's it.
But time passed it by.
Instant. The same reason digital is popular today. You don't have to go into a store. You get your picture right away. You can develop it at home. This is what has caused camera stores to go out of business.
Dan says he was never crazy about the quality of the pictures, but says they had a great run. So say goodbye to those black backs, those white borders, and just take notice as the last of these pop culture memories fade from view. In Elizabeth, Rick Holmes, News 12, New Jersey.